She bullied me in high school. Years later, she apologized, and I pretended to forgive her. I wanted revenge. But what happened next? I didn't expect. I read it. I never thought I'd be the kind of person to post something like this, but here I am. What started as a petty plan to get back at someone who tormented me in high school has turned into something I didn't see coming, and now I'm left with guilt, confusion, and more emotional baggage than I started with. Let me rewind. I, now 31M, was the quiet, awkward, nerdy kid in high school. I kept to myself, played a lot of online games, loved books, and didn't fit in with the popular crowd. I wasn't weird, I just wasn't confident. I wore secondhand clothes, had acne, and didn't know how to navigate social status. Easy target. One person made it especially bad, Ashley, fake name, who was the queen bee at my school. Cheerleader. Gorgeous, sharp-tongued, and brutal. She didn't just ignore me, she targeted me. She gave me nicknames, told people I smelled. Once, during sophomore year, she took a picture of me eating alone and made it a meme that floated around our school group chats. I laughed it off at the time, but it crushed me inside. I graduated, went to college, built a life. But that shame? That stuff sticks. I built a pretty decent life. I work in tech, moved to a different state, took care of myself physically and mentally. The confidence I lacked in high school I've grown into now. And then, out of nowhere, I get a Facebook friend request. Ashley. At first, I stared at the screen like it was a prank. But it was her. Same face, just older. Still beautiful. A little less polished. Her profile pic included a man, her husband, and 2 kids. I didn't accept the request. I left it sitting for a few days. But I'll admit, it stirred something in me. A week later, she messaged me. Hey, I know this is super random, but I saw your profile and felt like I owed you an apology. I was awful to you in high school and I'm really sorry. I've grown up a lot since then. I hope life's been good to you. It was polite, simple, but something in me snapped. I wasn't ready to forgive her. I wrote back, wow, that means a lot. Thanks. I really appreciate the message. I'm doing well. Hope you are too. I was lying. Not about doing well, but I didn't appreciate the message. I wasn't grateful. I was curious. Why now? What does she want? And a darker thought crept in. What if I pretended to forgive her, just to get close enough to hurt her the way she hurt me? I didn't think I'd actually do anything drastic. But something inside me wanted her to feel what I felt for years. Insecure, small, broken. So I played along. At first it was just friendly check-ins. Then longer conversations. She told me she was in therapy, dealing with unresolved guilt about her younger years. That she had gone through a rough marriage, was trying to find herself again. She said talking to me made her feel grounded. She admitted that her high school bullying was tied to how miserable she was at home. Her mom was emotionally abusive, her dad was an alcoholic. She said I was an easy target, because I was everything she wasn't, quiet, kind, and unbothered by what others thought. That part kind of gutted me. Still, I kept my guard up. I kept thinking, if she trusted me, maybe I could do something with that. Maybe ruin her relationship. Expose something. Humiliate her like she did to me. One night, after months of chatting, she called me crying. Her husband had just left her for someone else. She said, I don't know why I'm telling you this. You probably hate me. But you're the only person who's been kind to me lately. God. I hung up that night and stared at the ceiling, thinking about how much power I had in that moment. She had opened up to me, trusted me. She even sent me photos from her life, her house, her kids, selfies without makeup. I could have ruined her, messed with her reputation, forwarded private things, spilled everything to her family. But I didn't, because somewhere along the way, I didn't want it anymore. Revenge felt good in theory. But the closer I got to Ashley as a person, not the caricature I held onto, the harder it became to see her as just the bully. She was flawed, still sharp around the edges, but human. And I realized that holding on to hatred for 12 years was not the victory I thought it would be. What hurt me most wasn't what she did back then. It was how long I let it live inside me. Ashley and I still talk occasionally. We're not friends exactly, but we're connected somehow. She never asked me for forgiveness again. She just said, I understand if you don't. I deserve that. I never told her about the revenge I considered. I don't think I ever will, because this wasn't really about her. It was about me, and I'm finally starting to let it go. TLDR. My high school bully reached out years later to apologize. I pretended to forgive her, thinking I could get close and get revenge. But the closer I got, the more human she became, and the less I wanted revenge at all. Sometimes the best closure is realizing you don't need revenge. You just need to be okay without it. Thanks for reading. Someone who's still healing but no longer haunted. Follow up. Months later, reconnecting with my high school bully turned complicated. I'm still figuring out if I can really forgive her. Hey Reddit. Thanks so much for the responses to my last post. I didn't expect so many people to relate or offer advice. It means a lot. I wanted to share an update because things have continued to evolve in ways I wasn't prepared for. After my last post, Ashley and I kept in touch, but we both agreed to take things slow. Neither of us wanted to rush into friendship territory because honestly, that felt impossible at first. We mostly texted, sometimes sharing day-to-day stuff, other times getting into deeper conversations about our pasts, our fears, and what we want moving forward. The more we talked, the more I realized how much she's changed. She's not perfect, far from it, but she genuinely seems committed to being better, not just for me but for herself and her kids. I won't lie, trusting her is hard. I catch myself flinching whenever she jokes about something I used to get bullied for. Even after all these years, those old wounds are raw. One time she sent a funny meme about awkward high school moments, tagging me in it. I froze. Part of me wanted to laugh, but another part wanted to pull back. I told her how it made me feel, and she apologized immediately. It made me realize forgiveness isn't linear, it's messy and takes work on both sides. I also opened up to my husband about everything, the bullying, the apology, and how complicated it's become. He's been supportive but also cautious. He reminded me that healing doesn't mean I have to accept her fully or forget what happened. It just means I'm choosing my peace over anger. His perspective helped me take the pressure off myself, to just be where I am emotionally without rushing to fix things. A few weeks ago, Ashley shared something painful. She's been struggling with anxiety and guilt, feeling like she's a bad mom because of how she treated me and others when we were young. It was humbling. I saw a side of her I never knew existed, a person who's trying to fight her own demons every day. That didn't erase the past, but it added context I couldn't ignore. I'm still not the person who wanted revenge so many years ago. That anger feels distant now, like a shadow I can barely see. Instead, I'm focused on boundaries and respect. I've made it clear to Ashley that I'm willing to engage as long as it's honest and kind. If that ever changes, I'll step back. But right now, I want to see if we can build something new, however small and imperfect. Reconnecting with someone who hurt you is complicated and sometimes painful. It forces you to confront not just them but yourself, the parts of you that held on to pain and fear. I'm learning that forgiveness isn't about erasing the past. It's about deciding what power you give it over your present. Thanks again for listening, Reddit. I don't know where this will go, but for the first time in a long time, I'm hopeful. If anyone else has been in a similar situation or is thinking about reconnecting with someone from their past, I'd love to hear your stories. Still figuring it out, one day at a time. Follow-up Part 2. Our first in-person meeting after years apart. It was harder and more emotional than I expected. Hey again, Reddit. Thanks so much for all the support and encouragement on my last post. I've been thinking a lot about what you all said, and I wanted to share what happened when Ashley and I finally decided to meet in person. After months of texting and late-night calls, Ashley suggested we meet for coffee. I was nervous as hell. I hadn't seen her since graduation, over a decade ago. The thought of sitting across from the girl who tormented me was surreal. I almost backed out more than once, but I figured this was a chance to close some chapters properly, no matter how painful. We agreed on a quiet, neutral cafe downtown. I showed up early, heart pounding. When she walked in, she looked nervous too. No more Queen Bee aura, just a woman who looked tired but genuine. We hugged awkwardly, then settled into the booth. For the first few minutes, it was stilted. We talked about safe things, work, kids, how life has thrown curveballs. Then I asked her why she bullied me. It wasn't accusatory, just honest. She took a deep breath and said, "I was scared. I felt invisible at home and had to prove something at school. You were everything I wasn't, quiet, confident in your own way, and that made me jealous and afraid." She apologized again, tears in her eyes. I felt my own throat tighten. I told her how much pain her actions caused, how long I carried that shame and how it shaped who I became. She listened without interrupting. I realized this was the first time we were both truly honest. There were plenty. Moments when I laughed nervously, unsure if it was appropriate. Times when she got emotional and I wasn't sure how to respond. At one point, she joked about how she hoped her kids wouldn't turn out like her teenage self. I laughed genuinely and felt something shift, a strange warmth that wasn't resentment. When we parted, we hugged again. Longer this time. Neither of us said, "Let's be friends." but the tension had eased. I don't know where this goes, but for the first time, I don't feel like I'm holding on to a grudge. Meeting her in person was harder than I thought, but also necessary. It showed me that people aren't just their worst actions, and that understanding why someone hurt you doesn't excuse it, but it can help you heal. Thanks for reading. If you've ever had to face someone from your past who hurt you, I'd love to hear how it went. Taking it one step at a time. Final update: how I finally let go, making peace with my past and moving forward. Hey Reddit. It's been a long road since I first shared my story about reconnecting with my high school bully, Ashley. After our in-person meeting and all the ups and downs that followed, I wanted to post one last update and share how things stand now. Since that coffee meetup, Ashley and I have kept in touch, but very casually. We're not best friends or anything close to that. Instead, I think we've settled into a place of mutual respect and understanding. More importantly, I've learned to separate the person from the pain she caused me. She's a flawed human being like all of us, and I'm not defined by what she did. I won't pretend I forgot everything that happened in high school. I didn't. That pain shaped me in many ways, some good and some bad. But forgiveness for me has become about freeing myself from the weight of that past, not about excusing her behavior or pretending it didn't hurt. I've stopped carrying that anger like a backpack filled with rocks. It was exhausting and heavy. Honestly, the idea of revenge feels silly now. I thought it would bring satisfaction. Instead, it just would have chained me tighter to the past. Moving on has been the real victory. If you're holding on to anger or pain from someone who hurt you, whether it's a bully, an ex, or anyone else, remember, you don't have to forgive them right away. Healing is your process, your timeline. And sometimes the best revenge is living well, happy, and at peace. I'm grateful to those of you who listened and shared your wisdom. This journey hasn't been easy, but it's made me stronger and more compassionate. To Ashley, wherever you are, thank you for the apology and for being brave enough to reach out. And thank you, Reddit, for helping me find my voice. Here's to new chapters. Finally free.